Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Edwin Nieves. I am the lead producer out of Acelic Games and Black Banshee Studio. So I was actually the lead producer over Coalescence as well as Guardian when it released. Just to touch on a quick question before the end, we don't necessarily interact with feedback provided through the Steam releases. However, we do monitor them. They are important to us, so we like to take some of that consideration. And a lot of that consideration and feedback was pretty big for Guardian here. Guardian is a light RPG side scroller with some action and adventure elements into it. So we're going to just hit new game, jump right into it, and you get some feedback and kind of instruction almost immediately. So tap the screen to jump. That's actually to hit. So spacebar. This game was also designed and programmed for mobile, so the instructions were for both, to kind of show both. We do have voice acting.
Welcome all to the Erstwhile annual LARP event. There will be no further delays. Even Greek gods are expected to be punctual. That's right. I'm looking at you, Aria.
So the idea of, or the storyline for the game is that you are an attendant to a LARP festival that gets pulled into an actual event that is involving the Greek gods and goddesses. So you are then thrust forth and sent on an adventure. Lots of fun that can happen with that. Lots of interesting things that you can do. So Aria is our main character's name.
Yes, I know Arcas isn't a god, but... Well, you're the one that chose a character with such a similar name to your own. Okay, this is ridiculous. I said no further delays.
It's a real playful
All willing
banter.
participants converge on the battlefield, and best of luck.
Just some real playful banter. So you start similarly just in the tutorial level. You're provided, there are a couple different things you can do with our combat system. So you have a slide mechanic, which is used on keyboard with the control. Left click is our attack, and then space is our jump. You do have a double jump, so you can achieve higher distances, and then also you can combine the slide with the double jump to get some extra height. And combat's fairly simple. Kind of walk up, smack them. We do have a coin system that are used for progression, as the you can buy upgrades, doing more damage, increasing your health, those kind of things. So the tutorial level is fairly short. It also introduces potions that are throughout the game. There are potions that help you and hurt you. This is a potion to heal, but I'm at max, so I can't get it. This one improves your agility and allows me to do more damage as well. You see that this enemy shoots arrows and has a targeting system, so they will track you at a certain distance and try to hit you. And I kind of just get in there and take them out. So enemies are in a track system, so they will not pursue you past a certain point. So you're kind of just avoiding as much as you can. And then if I get during the tutorial level, you don't take damage. But of course, in the actual game, you will. So, and we're moving along here, and that's the end.
Oh, hey, don't mind me. Just on a coffee break. My life is a coffee break.
So, narrative was always a big, strong point for Guardian from start to finish. We had a wonderful person within the studio who was lead narrative before Quain, who actually wrote all of Guardian, and then was the kind of the starter for Coalescence, and kind of helped write that process along, and was an active role in us getting to Coalescence. I'm sure Quain will say that was a big help for him in Coalescence. And she was a valuable asset for us, and luckily we managed to keep her on as an extern after to help us with certain developments. But very talented writer, did lots of great work and helped put this game together.
Tons of warriors get knocked out during battle. Well, I wouldn't say you look fine necessarily. Such a meager poncho, and that stick for a sword. But at least you're awake. What is this about a costume? Yeah, it's this little town. Man, maybe your head is really messed up. I thought it was just shaped like that. No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
So
just playful banter. I'm gonna kind of move through that just to get a little bit of a longer scene, so that we can show the next
our
level.
heroine, now faced with the forest of Arcadia, graciously, confidently. No, okay, come on. You gotta give me something here. You look even less excited than I do. Fine. Be that way. Guess I don't. You're becoming a broken record, Bob. Look, you're part of the race of protectors, not me. What's weird, though, is I definitely thought they were extinct. Yeah, just...
So lots of fun here, and we get an interaction with our first big enemy, and then another enemy after that. You see, has a lot of health, takes a lot of damage. So first things, the slow plot reveal, yes. So as you see through the combat system, our biggest highlights were the narrative. Where we struggled a lot in development was developing a strong combat system that was properly tested as well. This is an active bug that we found even after development, is that on slopes, you don't always have access to your double jump, as it doesn't always recognize that. So we took a lot of feedback for the game, and have been really paying a lot of attention to what went wrong, what went right, and how do we improve on that. Guardian had a great vision start, and some of the biggest struggles were something that Quain mentioned with being a student studio. Longer production games tend to suffer a bit from the incoming and outgoing of talent, and those that work on the project and continuing that vision. So at times we may be having more bandwidth with lots of programmers who are able to get in and solve problems pretty quickly, and other times we're faced with where we may only have one or two programmers, and and that production gets slowed down a lot because we don't have as much to kind of fully tackle this problem. So similar things as were Coalescence, but as Guardian predates Coalescence, we learned a lot from this development in other games, and kind of applied that to some of our other projects that were in development at the time. So lots of just moving through the level here. You want to kind of actively pay attention to the enemies. Get as many as you can, because you get these coins, and those are used to improve your system, or your damage and whatnot. This guy here, these potions. So, upon release of Guardian, in that same vein, we did had a lot of play testing, and we got a lot of feedback back in regards to what was enjoyable, what wasn't enjoyable, and we really wanted to take that back and say, we really cared about this project and we really wanted to see what we do with it. How do we improve upon that? So we've actually been discussing pursuing some patches for the game to try to improve some areas that we knew needed a little extra love, and are looking to kind of improve upon those things as well. Let's see. Now, as you get towards the end, you're gonna get a prompt and sent on to the next level. This is an NPC that you get to interact with at a later point. And so the levels are naturally progressed as you move from stage 1 to stage 2. And yeah, that's Guardian. There are bosses that you eventually work your way to. You can get past and whatnot. So that's kind of, those are the big payoffs towards the end.
Very nice. Yeah, cool stuff. It's interesting that it's a little difficult to add good character advancement traits with this tool, but I mean, you've put some in. What do you feel there really is for character advancement besides more health, more money, a few better pieces of equipment in this game?
Yeah, so that was actually some of the big feedback that we got, is that if we wanted to include something like that, we really needed to have it fleshed out a little bit more. So that was an idea that we had with the potions, as the potions were meant to impact gameplay and kind of give you a little bit more diversity as you're working your way through. And that was something that was mentioned to us that had not as much impact as one would like as a player, right? So that's definitely an idea that we're going to go back to the drawing board with and kind of consider like revamping that system and changing them a bit. But we're also looking at possibly new weapons that to kind of continue to diversify those that combat and not give us a chance to have more available for the player. Sorry, a little distracted there, as you can see. So once the health gets low, you get sent. The save point is at the beginning of the level, so that's where you respawn. You don't get kicked back to the start of the whole game or anything like that. Just the beginning of the level.
So thanks to a lot of RPGs without big budgets will kind of cheat the whole character advancement by just changing the color of the weapon. Those pretty simple art changes, because characteristic changes can be a bit tricky to implement effectively. But
right.
What you added in here, certainly the voice and the writing add a good deal to the game, as do the Susian trees, the Dr. Seuss style around. Right. Someone commented that they look like the trees are the mushrooms from Mario. They continue to get their Mario vibe on this.
We had a very strong art department when we were actively working on Guardian. Another highlight to the game, we had at the time our lead artist was a very talented person who did all of the characters and the character sprites and attack animations, those kind of things. Wonderful stuff.
I really like the little, I don't know, is it a 4-frame walk cycle they did for this character? Can't tell if it's 2 or 4. It's very cute and very simple.
Right.
It works pretty well, partly with the sounds that tied to it. Alright, last chance for any more questions in chat. Any neat lessons you learned from this engine? Anything you'd want other people to know?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I should have mentioned at the beginning. Guardian was made with Unity and GitHub. as a repository for programming. A lot of things we learned were one of the similar things we learned on Coalescence again is that QA process. There needed to be a good amount of more testing involved, and something that we as students have really learned in the studio, and has been kind of hammered home to us more recently, is that you need to be actively testing your work as you're going along, and we have seen that not having that active testing can lead to issues later down the line that you don't necessarily have the bandwidth to fix anymore. So you kind of slap a band-aid on it, or try to get it as much fixed as you can, so that it can just function. Whereas you want to be able to correct those problems as soon as they pop up, or at least develop a plan to address them. So that was like our biggest thing, and probably the biggest learning curve that we have was test. test.
Excellent. Well, good praise in YouTube. Jesse James Allen with Insomniac says looks pretty solid so far. Echiminia says he's real. Hope to meet you guys. I'll be able to come. This team won't be in Atlanta, but we will be. So come on out. We're showing this team now, since this team won't be able to make the Siege on Sunday. But yeah, great look at it. Much appreciated. Anyone in there want to comment on the look, etc.? You'll get a chance to vote on them this weekend. We'll be running this stream at Siege for people to see. All right. Thank you very much to the Team Design Guardian and Coalescence.